Hello and welcome to Ginny's Gin Livestream. I'm Ginny, and along with my husband Rob and our dear friends Amy and Jeff Close, we founded Ginny's Gin. Well, it was twinkle in our eye back in 2016, but we got on the road in 2017, so it's been a while. Wow. Okay, so here in Northern California, we are having a heat wave, a serious heat wave. We're in triple digits, it's 100 plus right now. So Rob and I have a couple of very refreshing cocktails for you to get through the heat. It is summertime, so wherever you are, well, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and you're having a nice hot day, I think this weekend's cocktails are going to be good. It's a pretty big weekend because it's Father's Day on Sunday. So this is an awesome cocktail for you dads out there. It's actually my sister's birthday, one of my sister's birthdays, tomorrow. So happy birthday, Sandra. Normally we do our live stream on Friday, but we are heading to the beach to beat the heat and to stay with a dear friend down there. Some friends actually of Rob's from high school. So thank you, James, for the invite to...
We're staying with a dear friend and James.
So Pescadero we're going down to, so excited about that. So and they don't have the bandwidth down there for us to do this, and we want to relax anyway, so we're doing it now. So Father's Day cocktail. Oh, I want to tell you about my sister Sandra. And for those of you that don't know, I was a complete mistake. And so Mum, she already had 3 daughters that were sort of flying the nest when I appeared on the scene in her 40s. And so on the back label, if you don't know, there's the name cloud. And these are all the friends and family members that helped make it happen. But my sisters are on there because they are actually responsible for naming me. So my mother, 4th girl, at a loss for another girl's name, she gave the job of naming me to my 3 sisters. So correct me, sisters, if I'm wrong about this, but the winning name, obviously was Virginia, but nobody's called me Virginia. They always called me Ginny. If I was in trouble, I might be Virginia. So in the name cloud, I obviously have put my sisters on there because without my name, maybe I would never have got in the gin business, and it's sort of rather serendipitous. So that's the story behind my sisters and the naming of me. Okay, so Father's Day weekend. Oh, and then Rob and I actually have an anniversary tomorrow. 23 years. Good Lord. Woo. Wow, does that fly? Okay. So happy Father's Day to all those dads out there. Congratulations for making a difference. And here personally in our household, we know that it takes a lot of gin to raise your family. And it's certainly helped us along the way in many ways. And Rob actually has a story to tell you. He's just got in right now, but he has about Max. So, our youngest son is still at home. He's 17. And, shout out to the Flamingo Hotel. A couple of reasons. So they hired him as a busser, food runner, what have you. So he's actually been working. He will be working this summer. So that's awesome. He's very motivated by money. And he's enjoying the tips as well. So that's kind of cool. And then another shout out to them, especially Chris, the food and beverage director. Because they're going to be having Ginny's Gin on the list there, and I think through the hot summer months by the poolside, please go and enjoy a Ginny's Gin cocktail while you're enjoying the Flamingo pool. They just did a massive renovation, so it's looking good. All right, without further ado, I am going to make an estregin cocktail, which is perfect for dads. And it's very, very refreshing. And I'm just going to grab my glass out of the freezer because it is 100 degrees out there, and we definitely need to keep all of our glassware in the freezer, keep everything cold and refreshing. I'll be back.
We're both making a drink with fresh cherries as a base, but it's not a competition. Just saying.
All right. So this is actually an Amstel glass. But I think it's super cute, especially for this cocktail. if you have a long, refreshing cocktail, then this works really well. You could obviously use a Tom Collins glass, anything tall with long sides, but this is particularly attractive, I think. So, the cherries. So we both made our own cherry syrup. The way that I made mine was I took a pound of cherries, and the recipe actually is from Food and Wine, and I sort of adapted it, but they suggested that you use the sour cherries. And I went to my couple of local stores, and they didn't have the sour cherries; they just had the regular cherries. So be it. I just used the regular cherries. So pound of cherries, and then I took the zest of half a lemon. I just took the zest and peels, threw that into the pan, and then the zest of half an orange as well. And then I did half a cup of sugar, half a cup of water, threw it all in the saucepan, let it boil, and then simmer for about 40 minutes, and that breaks everything down. And then I took it off the heat and let it just cool down so that I could handle it later. And then I just put it through a sieve, so all the solids were discarded. Sort of I pressed down a little bit on the solids so that I got everything out as much as I could of the yumminess. But look at that colour, isn't that awesome? So that's the cherry syrup, and that's sort of the base for this particular drink. And I'm going to call it a sling. So the Singapore sling, and I've done that before obviously, includes one of the, part of the recipe is cherry, I think it's hearing cherry it's called, but we actually have our own homemade cherry syrup, so even better. And cherries are in season right now, which, as you all know, or most of you know, we love to use seasonal ingredients. And the cherry season, I learn, is actually very short. It's only 6 weeks, so it's from mid-May through June. So we wanted to jump on that and use the seasonal cherries. They're in your store right now and looking great. And we obviously used our local cherries as well. Okay, so let's move on with the gin sling. So I'm going to take my mason jar, which should have been in nice and cold, what have you, but right here. We're going to start, as we always start, with 2 ounces of gin. In this case, it's the estregin. So 2 ounces. There we go.
That looked like 2.5.
It was a little more than 2, yeah. Mm-hmm. It is, yeah. Anyway. Okay, and then I'm going to do 2/3 of an ounce of Cointreau. Again, Cointreau actually is in the Singapore sling too, I believe. Right? So, there we go. 2/3 of Cointreau. And I'm going to do a few dashes of the Angostura bitters. 3. 1, 2, 3. Bit more. There we go. And lime juice. I am going to do 2/3 of an ounce of lime juice. And depending on how juicy your limes are, will depend on how much you need, whether it's a half a lime or a whole lime. So let's see what we get out of this half. It's feeling a little firm, so I'm not sure. Oh, wait, hold on. Nope, not quite there. I'm going to use another half. There we go. Yeah, the sink's right there, so I'll just chuck that in there. And remember to, when you're using these squeezers, chop off the end so that...
That's the bitter part.
And it just makes it easier for it to squeeze as well. So you're sort of left with that. And then pop it in the squeezer. And I'm going to get... There we go. That's enough right there. So the lime, fresh lime. And next, I'm going to use the lovely cherry syrup. And Rob can tell you about the cherry syrup. He made one, I made one, and anyway. And I'm going to do 2 ounces of the cherry syrup because it's so good. There we go. And of course the colour is spectacular. It looks really good in the cocktail.
Cherries are chock full of antioxidants, so they're really good for you.
They are. So this is another healthy cocktail. We really like to bring you the healthy stuff.
Yep.
While drinking.
No sweet and sour mix.
And now I think I've got it all, right? Everything's in the pool. I'm going to put some ice in. Ooh, there you go. And you can either stir this or you can shake it up. I'm going to shake it up because that's what I like to do. Nice and cold. Get it a little diluted. I think that's enough. And then I'm just going to strain it into my tall Amstel glass, which I'm going to fill with ice. Right here. And this is sort of a, I'm calling it a sling, but it's similar to a, whoop, there we go, Tom Collins. I'm going to put a little club soda in the bottom. Yeah, which makes it even more refreshing. And adds to your daily water consumption. Oh, okay. I'm going to, yeah, I might add a little more ice. What's that? That's funny. Okay, so a little club soda. Now I'm going to add this beautifully coloured cocktail. Look at that. Put a little more ice in the top. Isn't that fab? It looks like something a kid would drink. Actually, that being said, if you make the cherry syrup, you could serve it to your children just with soda. That would
Sparkling water.
Soda, sparkling water, any kind of fizzy water, that would be really fun for them. So you can make your own adult beverages and at the same time serve your kids something fun as well. Because who would love that? And then I am going to put a little lime in there. And then I took this cherry and I just pierced it with a little martini pick. So that, and I put it in the freezer too, so it's nice and cold as well. So there is the cherry lime sisters sling with estrogen. I could call it the the peri berry sling too, but the peri cherry sling. But I'm going to call it the sister sling. So there it is, and wow, I can't wait to drink that. Doesn't it look refreshing and fabulous? Okay, Rob, let's take it away with your cherry version.
Okay, so yeah, Ginny made a syrup, and it takes a lot longer, and it actually did turn out, I think, a little bit better. Mine was a more simple version of a cherry syrup. I made it in like 3 minutes. Hers is slightly darker. They both taste really good, but I think Ginny's has got a little edge in terms of syrups. What I did, but my drink's better. So then, so what I did was I took a cup of cherries, a cup of sugar, a cup of water. I took fresh local cherries and I just cut the seeds out, and the seeds can be dangerous because if you make a syrup including the seeds, you can be extracting cyanide out of the seeds, so that's pretty dangerous. So I seeded them, and then I just put a pinch of salt and I chucked it in a blender.
Remember the cyanide.
Chucked it in a blender, and then strained it right away, and it made a really nice syrup, and it's really easy. If you go through cooking it longer like Jenny did, look at more extraction. But what I did was I played around with the idea of what they call it's a Cherry Ricky, and a lot of people make a non-alcoholic version of Cherry Ricky. It's on the East Coast. I think it might even be like Massachusetts or somewhere. And I was looking at that, and then there's some versions where people make that drink with gin. But then I looked at the Flavor Bible, which is a really great resource. And what it does is it'll list under cherries all the affinities, and it has maybe 25 or 30 ingredients that kind of pair well with cherry, but it highlights the ones on the list that have extra special, powers in terms of affinity. And so what was highlighted was vanilla, so I have a little bit of vanilla extract, and lemon, of course, instead of lime, like in a Ricky. And then almond was a really big one in there, and I went, oh my God, I just made homemade almond syrup last Friday for our tiki cocktails. And so I played around. It took me a couple of nights of making a drink each night, and some people call that drinking. I called that work or experimenting,
Hard work.
honing in on a great drink. And you know what? that might be my favorite drink this year that we invented or kind of came up with, and it's not really anybody else's recipe. And so I'm going to make one. Ginny's going to grab my frosted chilled glass out of the freezer. And I'm going to grab my mixing tin to mix it in. And basically, we are going to go with the 90 proof gin. I love both gins, but you know. So we have 2 ounces of Ginny's gin. Goes good with lemony stuff because there's a little bit of organic lemon peel inside the botanical mix. And then to that, we are going to add, put my drink down there, we're going to add our 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice. So, I mean, I could have done this in advance, but you know, this just shows how heck fast it is. And I may get a full ounce out of this slightly bigger than a half a lemon. Yeah. I had to get every little drop. Okay, now into the pool it goes. Then we're gonna take our 1 ounce of our fabulous fresh cherry syrup. And, ooh.
You got the
There's
wrong
1
one,
ounce.
honey.
What do you mean? No, I'm using my syrup.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, it makes a heck of a good drink. Okay, and then I'm gonna add 2 drops of vanilla extract, just to give it that little and then 2 drops of my little bit of salt solution, and you could do that, or you could just put a tiny pinch of salt in your drink. If you make one each way, you'll like the salty one better. And then, because it already has a little bit of sugar, but it's been quite diluted with the cherry juice, just to boost it up so it balances the drink, and then add that almond component, we're gonna do a half ounce of my homemade orgeat, or orgeat, as Ginny calls it. And then I think everything's ready. We got our big ice cube. We got a couple of small ice cubes. And before that, we're gonna get our glass ready. We're gonna take our other half of our lemon. We're just gonna do a little thin slice. And then we're gonna take some of this fabulous ice, and we're gonna go about 3/4 the way up with the ice, so that then we can set the lemon and it'll just kind of sit up on top like that, and then we'll put another ice cube in to hold it. We're gonna put some of Ginny's club soda in the bottom of our glass, and we're gonna make it about what I would call, I don't know, a couple fingers. It's probably like, in this case, maybe 1.5 ounces. And we're gonna shake up our little cocktail. And surprisingly, because of the cherry juice, it gets a little foamy on top when you shake it like this, and it gives it a little bit more dilution, so you don't have to shake it a long time. It's not a hard shake. But there it is, and then we're gonna go like that. Man, my syrup really looks gorgeous in there, doesn't it? And then I really think, you know, it's a strong
As you
drink.
can tell, he's not particularly
Because it's a little
competitive,
bit
really.
like a Tom Collins in a way. And then we're just gonna top it with one of these super cute little cherries. And then, I don't know, it's just kind of the way that I am. I think something just to make it look super cute on top. Sorry, but it's just taking me a second. But just a little bit of, you know, lemon and thyme, right? I mean, and I don't know. I mean, it's just a little bit of aromatics for the top. It doesn't really flavor the drink, but it looks super cool, and it makes it smell real nice on top.
Awesome.
And this is my, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like a Gin Ricky, but not really, because it has lemon and with almond syrup, and that's the drink. Yeah, it's a good one.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love my own cooking a lot.
And cocktails.
Yeah, and cocktails. Same
And
thing.
yes, happy Father's Day, everybody. All those dads out there making a difference with their kids. Do you want to tell the flamingo story with Max? So for any of you that has a teenager, you will relate to this because...
It's not a great idea to share cars with kids, so I had the windshield replaced on one car today, and then I was driving that, so I asked Max to go to work in my truck. So just as I was leaving, picking up the car and heading to the same place where he works to do my lap swimming, he called and said, "Dad, my apron's in the back of your car." And I said, "Perfect, because I'm heading where you are. I'll leave the car unlocked, and you can grab it." So I went in, I swam my laps, and then I was kind of hustling out of there so I could make it back on time for this. And when I got to the car, he locked the door and locked me out. So then I went into the hotel to try to find Max, and I had to wait almost 30 minutes because he was in a meeting, a pre-service meeting. And so then after he comes out, he goes, "What's up?" And I go, "Well, you locked the door." He goes, "Well, didn't you have your key?" And I go, "No, it's in the car." So we both went, boy, to each other, and then I just barely
Well, he made it
here.
in time to make
I
a
did.
cocktail. But for those of you, those dads especially this weekend, who are dealing with teenagers, good luck, and make sure that you're drinking Ginny's Gin cocktails, or, well, the women obviously are drinking the estregin cocktails, but just keep drinking, because it certainly takes the edge off and helps you deal with them, right? We're off to the beach.
Look at the froth on the top of that cute drink.
Yes, it's very frothy. So we're going to enjoy our cocktails. We hope that you are going to beat the heat this weekend if you're here locally. Stay cool and stay refreshed, and remember to drink water as well as gin, obviously.
Be cool, fool.
What do I say? That sometimes I surprise my liver by drinking water. Anyway, cheers, guys. Happy weekend.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy Father's Day. And here's to the beach. Ooh, I'm gonna take my cherry off.
Wow.
That was a joke there.
Somebody asked me what the almonds do for the drink, and it's kind of like adding oak to wine to give it like mouthfeel and texture. In addition to the flavor, that's the almonds kind of have that, not bitterness, but just like textural component. It makes the drink hecka good.
Cool. Excellent.
Love
Okay,
it.
guys. Have a great weekend.
Cheers.
See you next weekend.